Challengers approaching!
Start your engines!
If there's one game we all love and challenges approaching, in fact as gamers, it's Super Smash Bros. And if there's another game we all love and challenges approaching, it's Mario Kart. I do not know a single specimen, Pikmin or Pink Gold Peach that doesn't like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart is a series that is constantly evolving and changing with new features added to each installment.
And in Mario Kart 8, Nintendo turned the series on its head. Literally!
I didn't know Mario Karts even had heads.
Well, the Wild Wiggler does, but that doesn't count because he should still be playable.
Anyway, we love the anti-gravity mechanic. It makes experiences that would otherwise be impossible possible, such as riding up Shy Guy Falls and Toadifying City Escape.
Anti-gravity levels feel as if you're riding an amusement park ride. Most of the new tracks in Mario Kart 8 remind me a lot of the 3D movement rides like Star Tours or the Simpsons ride.
So let's accelerate our countdowns full speed ahead!
But for the sakes of originality, we're not going to bore you and give you our favourite new Mario Kart 8 tracks. However, Dolphin Shoals is the best.
We're going retro and counting down our top 8 Mario Kart retro tracks.
Each retro track has been peppered up with new mechanics, visuals or music in some way, and we are going to be judging our favourite retro tracks on that, as well as faithfulness to the original.
Remember, this list is voted collectively by the 7 of us, and is completely opinionated. So by the rules of Chap and just common courtesy, please don't express your rage in the comments section if your personal favorites aren't on this list, or as highly placed as you would have wanted them to be.
With all that said, Lakitus at the ready.
Chaps Are Assemble!
3,
2,
1.
G'day mates, you're just in time. What you see behind me is the home of the Kong himself, Donkey Kong. I wonder where all the Kongs have gone. Crikey, look! What are these odd creatures? How fascinating! But what an obnoxious sound they make. Listen! Dum, 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 dum. What's up guys, it's the Golden Lotus bringing you the number 8 retro track in Mario Kart 8, DK Jungle. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, Lotus! Are you nuts? We just had this track in Mario Kart 7! Well, too bad! This is our 8th favorite, and you're gonna listen to me talk about it! Seriously though, I love this track. Based on jungle hijinks from Donkey Kong Country Returns, this is one of few tracks that can really introduce you to what makes the series it comes from so charming. For some reason, there are no Arcs to be found here, but still, the Tikis and the Fragoons are more than enough to show racers how appealing the Donkey Kong Country enemies are in comparison to the Goombas and Piranha Plants we find in many, many other tracks. And those are just the road obstructions. The scenery leaves you speechless with beautiful waterfalls, detailed forests, and even murals on the walls of the Golden Temple. Once you get inside the temple, you will find nothing more than a breathtaking, solid gold banana that you will proceed to drive right past because you've got a race to win. As you exit the temple, you'll encounter the screaming pillars, which will, of course, scream in an attempt to slow you down as you cross the pond. Finally, you swing around the corner to begin your second lap and experience the Donkey Kong Country all over again. Comparing it to its Mario Kart 7 counterpart, there are only 2 noticeable changes. The first is turning the Golden Temple entrance into an anti-gravity area. It's nothing too special, but it does make that U-turn a bit easier. Much more importantly, however, is simply how beautiful the stage looks with the Wii U's HD graphics. This is a track that belonged in HD from the very beginning, and I'm so glad that I got to see it that way. With the beautiful scenery and charming wildlife, it's no wonder that this track stood out to us as the 8th top retro track in Mario Kart 8, but sadly, it's still a rather new track and also one with a fairly simple layout, so I can understand why it didn't place higher on this list. With that said, let's move on to those that did place higher. I've been the Golden Lotus, and we've just explored the DK Jungle.
What looks creamy smooth is full of protein and can smell rather pungent. Well, it could be milk if you leave it to go sour, but Moo Moo Meadows was the answer I was looking for. The calorific fields of Moo Moo Meadows first appeared in Mario Kart Wii as your run-of-the-mill, second short Mushroom Cup track. It was more green and less natural and realistic looking, as when Nintendo took it up a notch in Mario Kart 8 as the first track of the Shell Cup. Hardcore. But I believe Moo Moo Meadows' first placement was to show the true graphical prowess that the Wii U bolsters, and it succeeded. Side by side with its Wii counterpart, widened, more realistic colour palettes paint the scene, from the tints of ruby in the clouds, to the finite particles of dirt, dust and gas, something your average kart racer wouldn't only pay attention to, and look at that cow! 1080p, high definition, semi-skinned, polygonal cows. So good, let's melt this joke and put it on Miiverse. And the glare of the sun being another touch that most of other kart racers tend not to appreciate, which makes me love Mario Kart more than any other kart racers that I happen to own. Oh, and Pink Gold Peach. Moo Moo Meadows Remade feels more like a farm, even though it's not Moo Moo Farm. With different breeds of cows, a more farm-appropriate ramp, signs of erosion from the animals that live around it, gates that are wooden and crafted with love, rather than the spiky gates that could easily injure the poor cows. Oh, and nice cow physics. Even the toads are really happy that this retro course is back. Yeah, I'd be that happy if I got to be playable in 3 new Super Mario Bros. Games! But aside from the HD makeover and microscopic attention to detail, what really makes this track stand out? All it really adds gameplay-wise is a slower air gliding segment. Oh, and nice cow physics. Well, this course just ends up being fun. Something nice and sedate for beginners just to take a break from the anti-cow, anti-gravity physics gameplay. And hey, at least it has nice cow physics. Oh, and the orchestrated music was also cool. P.S. Trail and no Tomodachi Life, brown cows do not produce chocolate milk. Moving on. Moving on!
Mario Kart Super Circuit is a really underappreciated entry in the Mario Kart series, which has lots of great tracks to choose from. To this day, there still remains so many great tracks yet to be reused, such as Ribbon Road, which would make good use of the gliding mechanic, and Cheap Cheap Island, which would make good use of the underwater mechanic. The game even features my favourite course of all time, Snowland. So which course makes its HD debut in Mario Kart 8? What better course than Mario Circuit? Okay, so Mario Circuit was a bit of a duff choice, but they still did a grand job with it. What was once an endless sea of trees is now a sea of trees with a definitive end. There's also a huge piece of tarmac torn out of the ground supported by Ultra Arms, and if you happen to own real Ultra Hands, congratulations, you're probably older than my mum. This was my first taste of anti-gravity in Mario Kart 8, and it definitely improves the course. An additional gliding ramp also spices things up, and that puddle of oil could even put a smile on Zulem Rice's face. Mario Kart Super Circuit definitely had better tracks on offer, but Mario Circuit is no slouch and is one of my favourite tracks in the whole game, mostly for being flat. But if Nintendo have now reused Mario Circuit, Luigi Circuit, Peach Circuit and 3 Bowser Castles, will they finally start to reuse some of the more interesting tracks from Super Circuit? No, there's still one Mario Kart archetype left before that can happen.
My favourite Mario Kart by far is Mario Kart Double Dash. Incorrect punctuation aside, each track was built around the dual character mechanic, with wide tracks for a vast range of wacky items with the increased racers. And there's one track from Mario Kart Double Dash that met this criteria in 8. Now I think you see where I'm going with this. It only had 2 Double Dash tracks, Sherbetland and Dry Dry Desert. It wasn't a hard choice when I decided Sherbetland was my favourite retro track. I've always loved snow tracks, and honestly, this one really stands out in my eyes. With the power of the Wii U, it allows this track to look magnificent, and all the tidbits just make it work, like the beautiful fireworks, the young Shy Guy couple, and the water. This game has nice water. Honestly, the music just adds to the pleasing aesthetics. Furthermore, in embracing new mechanics, the bike controls a lot smoother than you'd expect, a problem plagued with the retro revival of Mario Kart Wii's N64 Sherbetland. And the coin placement is friendly to fire-hopping drifters, unless you're a scrub. The track is overall quite interesting with its locations. You go through an ice rink with ridiculously large Shy Guys, a multi-routed cave underwater, This should really give you hypothermia, but the music makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. Disclaimer, Stelly made me say that. Now, what did Mario Kart 8 do to update how this track plays? It added the water sections, which subtly added this track without taking anything away, making it a faithful retro course. These sections also have the zero gravity mechanic, furthermore expanding the track. The gliding mechanic was used near the end to create a helpful shortcut. To conclude, that in my eyes makes a great retro course. It had nothing taken away, unlike others, Yoshi Valley, and really gives the track new layers of depth. Yeah, this track would be higher, but you know, Mount Wario's kind of a thing, and that's really it. Oh yeah, also...
I was frozen today!
Oh yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
Mario Kart 64, the first video game I ever owned. Despite being outdated compared to today's games, it will always hold a special place in my heart. Apparently the same can be said for a lot of other Nintendo fans, as Mario Kart 8 brought back 4 tracks from this game. It makes sense when you realize that Mario Kart 64 is Mario Kart 8 squared! One such returning track is Toad's Turnpike, the first course in the Mario Kart series to have cars drive alongside the carts. As such, the item boxes are placed on the side of the road. Good luck avoiding the traffic, or else you will defy the laws of physics and launch straight upwards after driving into a vehicle perfectly horizontally. However, aside from that, there's really nothing interesting about this course. It's mostly flat and not very pretty to look at. But the Mario Kart 8 version? Now we're talking. Like every retro track in this game, the HD visuals give Toad's Turnpike a great makeover. But there's much more to this version than just a graphical upgrade. While the traffic in the N64 version was your worst enemy, especially in mirror mode, the traffic in the Wii U version can be your best friend. Some careless drivers have surfboards sticking out of the back of their cars that you can drive over for speed boosts. Those bothersome trucks from the original have turned into moving ramps, which allow players to glide onto the roof of a bus or even over the bridge. Anti-gravity sections have also been added to the outside of each turn. While these routes are slower, they do allow racers to avoid traffic and collect extra coins. Item boxes now move across the entire track, so no more hogging all of the items on the side. Now you can do that with coins instead. Overall, this version is a huge improvement. It stays faithful to the original while adding several new features and tweaking a few things to make it a much better course in general. For these reasons, Toad's Turnpike truly deserves the number 4 spot on this list, taking many turns for the better. By the way, has anyone else noticed how this Figure 8 course returned in Mario Kart 8? Coincidence? I think not!
The next track on our list is Sheep Beach. This exotic track resort debuted in Mario Kart DS, the first Mario Kart I ever owned myself. I played it a lot more than was probably healthy for a 10-year-old me, but as for Sheep Beach in Mario Kart DS, it never stood out to me. And dusting off my almost destroyed original DS to replay the spectacle in all its low-poly glory made me realize why. It's pretty boring. The graphics are alright and there are no standout features over any other track. It's a beach with sheep. There's a cliff you can drive under and that's kinda neat, I guess. All around it's just alright. Put in Mario Kart 8, boot it up, and holy cow! Everything's so pretty! Gone are the 2D rotating sprite trees, crabs and sheep, boring grey rock faces and plain sand and water of the DS. And in their place a gorgeous Wii U treatment of stunning models with amazing amounts of detail. There are both large and small graphical additions to the course, such as huts and piantas at the start, islands in the distance, corals and other stuff on the seafloor, and various Mario Kart 8 additions such as the dripping lens when you exit water. The music has also been remade for Mario Kart 8, a phenomenal rendition with a tropic rhythm that makes you want to groove in your seat and fits the stage like a glove. The track has so much more personality now and it feels like a complete course. The course now has a lot more going on for racing as well. You can drive underwater with the marine life, and a bunch of ramps have been added to pull tricks off of, making the track feel a lot faster and more varied, with many more options to drive the track your way. This makes Sheep Sheep Beach a much more fun and free track to play. However, Sheep Sheep Beach does not use any anti-gravity, and instead only uses ramps, gliders, and underwater driving. Some may argue that this is a flaw and could have been done in Mario Kart 7 instead. While that is true, personally, I find the lack of anti-gravity a nice change of pace, and think it would have been too much to force the mechanic into an already well-flowing track. And the HD graphics of the Wii U more than make up for not using all of Mario Kart 8's new features. All in all, Sheep Sheep Beach is not only one of the best graphical upgrades of any retro track in Mario Kart 8, but also one of the best revamped gameplay experiences on the track list, turning what was a Sheep Sheep Boar into a Sheep Sheep Ball, while staying faithful to the DS original. And that's why Sheep Sheep Beach is our number 3 pick for top retro tracks in Mario Kart 8. They didn't go cheap on this one.
When a new Mario Kart is announced, I'm really excited to see what retro courses from previous installments are added to the new game. As Mario Kart information was being released, I didn't really follow it all that closely. When I got the game, I was very excited to see what retro courses they picked, and definitely some good ones from my favorite Mario Kart DS.
I can't really say for most Mario Kart games that as future installments come out, the older ones hold up as well. But I still think Mario Kart DS is an amazing game, and I still love it to this day. It's sad to say that the online servers are no longer available, but then it's a great thing that a lot of the older stages have now appeared in Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is extremely well put together and has one of the greatest course lists in the entire series. Some of our favorite courses from Mario Kart DS, such as Cheep Cheep Beach, Wario Stadium, and my favorite, Tick Tock Clock, all make a reappearance.
Tick Tock Clock's very interesting. Not many courses in the Mario Kart series are directly inspired from stages from Mario games. They're usually just illusions or based upon types of levels. Tick Tock Clock's directly inspired from this little gem here, Super Mario 64.
When I played Super Mario 64 as a kid, the stage that always stood out to me the most was Tick Tock Clock. I always thought it was just enthralling, being so small in a large open space. You could be in a clock tower or just a small grandfather clock, and it's still grandiose and amazing. I think this translates very well over to Mario Kart. Most likely added to bank on the, at the time, recently released Super Mario 64 DS, implementing Tick Tock Clock to Mario Kart just feels natural. Using the grids that Mario stood on in 64 as the racetrack just fits so well. Mario Kart DS captured the atmosphere of Super Mario 64's level of Tick Tock Clock very well, and I always shared a fondness for both equally. Transitioning from the DS to the Wii, holy macaroni piece of shit. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I mean, there's no grids anymore, and it looks like you're just riding on clocks. But it's beautiful. I mean, look at it. Clocks, 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 clocks. There's so many frickin' clocks. Flava Flav could wear this course as a necklace. I loved the music in the original Tick Tock Clock, but it does not hold up well listening to this orchestrated masterpiece. Updating the detail and the layout of the course works very well for Tick Tock Clock. They achieved the same charm that it had back with the DS, but adding the beautiful colors of the Wii U. There's so much detail on this course. You can see diagrams as if they were drawn by Benjamin Banneker on the wall. The big new mechanic added to the stage that was added to the series since its original installment was the gliding mechanic. The gliding mechanic works fairly well for the stage over the clog section that was originally clunky looking. It looks very smooth, and either way you go, it's usually around the same time. But gliding is cooler. Regardless of its slight changes, They still kept that evil pendulum. We've got a mad watch! Mad watch! Nostalgia aside, I think Tick-Tock Clock has always been one of the most fun stages to race on, and with its huge improvements and now available to be played online, it's one stage that continues to impress me and impress us, well deserving of its spot.
With the stage as great as Tick-Tock Clock, I'm surprised it's taken Nintendo this long to reinstate it into the Mario Kart series, but I've got to hand it to Nintendo with the Wii U's graphical capabilities and the awesome mechanics introduced in 7 and brought into 8. Tick-Tock Clock is really fleshed out, and it was about time, and that's why Tick-Tock Clock clocks in at number 2 on the list.
Boo! Puns suck!
Well, we've all done a segment, so can we finally finish this list? No. There's one more Mario Kart archetype left before that can happen.
We didn't even need to vote for the number 1 course on this list. As soon as we decided the topic for our first list, we knew this would inevitably be number 1.
As if it wasn't obvious enough, the retro track that we chose as our collective number 1 is the one, and nowhere near only, Rainbow Road.
The nostalgia! It burns!
We love the retro tracks that add something new to the old courses, and the HD remake totally revitalizes what was once a long, never-ending road, with tons of new additions along the way.
First of all, damn graphics! This track has been beautifully updated with colourful tiles, spectacularly revamped fireworks, and a goal ring ripped straight out of Sonic.
Also, you're no longer driving in an empty void. Now you can see Toad Harbor and the Statue of Peach beautifully rendered down below. Now that the guardrails aren't surrounding the entire course, you could fall off like a shooting star to the city down below. Hey, what's that? Ugh.
And let's not forget the new orchestrated version of the classic Rainbow Road theme. It gives me nostalgic chills every time I hear it.
The track itself has undergone many changes. Ramps and gliding sections have been added, which allow the racers to fly through star rings and gain speed. There are also toads riding on the trains which throw extra coins for the racers to collect.
Yay! Free money!
The anti-gravity mechanic of Mario Kart 8 has also been incorporated into this version. While anti-gravity doesn't make sense for every retro track, like Sheep Sheep Beach, it does make sense for Rainbow Road. Seeing the city above and below you is truly magical.
A couple of things have been removed as well. The chomp from the original is now gone. In its place, we have bouncing chomps in certain sections of the track, which can squash players if they don't drive carefully.
At least the chomp is now the Miiverse stamp for this course.
Also, the epic shortcut has been removed. Please, a quick moment of remembrance.
But by far, the biggest change to this course is it's now only 1 lap long. While a race on the N64 version can last 6 minutes thanks to a track length of 2,000 meters, a race on this version can last under 2 minutes. It's amazing how much of a difference such a seemingly simple change can make. But most importantly, red shells are no longer useless.
You know a retro track is good when it's widely considered better than the original.
As the last course of the last cup, with anti-gravity, gliding, and insane spin-boosting drifts to boot, N64 Rainbow Road is not only the ultimate Mario Kart 8 retro course, but it might be the ultimate Mario Kart 8 course overall.
Granted, that's mostly because we got that silly space station instead of a true Rainbow Road in the new tracks.
This is a fantastic track that combines nostalgia, modernization, faithfulness to the original, and a simple chaotic fun of hitting Michael with 3 red shells. Hey!
Taking all of this into account, all 7 of us agree that N64 Rainbow Road is, without a doubt, the best retro track in Mario Kart 8.
And you know what the best part is? Now we can have GBA Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 9!
Oh, Tail. Thank you for watching our top 8 Mario Kart 8 retro tracks, same as last time. If you want to click on our channels, then click on the bubble down below. And speaking of last time, you can view that video, the Chaps introductory video, to find out more about us in 30 seconds each. Click on the video in the top left. Or you could look forward to the fact that this Wednesday, unless you're watching this after this Wednesday, which I'm referring to, our first gameplay video of Mario Kart 8 will be uploaded, so you can click the top right corner to go see that if you're from the future. If not, be patient. Thank you for watching, have a great day. Such a great relief to finally get this list out and share it with you. And with that, our first countdown has crossed the finish line.
Get it? It's a pun!
Boo!